Hi, in this video we're going to look at tracks, what they are and how to create them. And let's have a think about what a track is before we go into Capsule and see how to create them. So a track is a series of tasks and it's basically a process. So we might have a sales process and we might have a delivery process. And a track in a sales process is the tasks that you need to do to move that opportunity from one milestone to the next. And we break the sales process down into a series of tracks and we can build those tracks within the opportunity. So the track for what we deliver, so a track in projects could be or is a series of tasks that we need to do to deliver the work that we say we're going to deliver. And the track is a series of tasks that we need to do to move the project from one stage to the next. A track can be really short. It can be 1 or 2 tasks, or it can be many more. My advice would be to keep the tasks to as few as possible. Otherwise, we do tend to get bombarded by those tasks when they come up. So a track is a series of tasks, and the difference between the tasks in a track and ad hoc tasks is that when we tick off a task in a track, then a designated amount of time later, the next task will be sent to us. So maybe we set up a task to do the second thing 3 days after we've done the first thing. So we tick the first thing off. 3 days later, we get a reminder to do the next thing. Or if we've got multiple users on the system, then we can actually assign tasks to other users. So we could tick off something to say that we've completed it, and 3 days later, another user is asked or reminded to do the task they need to do that's necessary to move the opportunity along the milestones or to move the project through the stages. So let's have a look at Capsule and see how that actually works in practice. So I'm in Capsule and we can see the new dashboard here. So what I need to do is I need to go over to my name, top right, click on account settings. Over on the left hand side, we've got tracks. So we click on that and we can see that we have tracks for opportunities or tracks for projects. So it's quite a good idea to name your track with the milestones in mind. Now, the reason that we don't have one long massive track like this sales process here is that in Capsule now on the growth plan, we have automations and tracks can be automatically added when one milestone is completed and the next one starts. So when you start a new milestone, a track can be automatically added. So we want the track, the overarching sales process, to be broken down into a series of tracks so that just those tasks that are needed to move from one milestone to the next are captured in the track. And what we do is if we want to start a track from scratch, we click on Add Opportunity Track, and we might call it something like just Initial Inquiry. So this is a series of tasks that we need to do when we get that initial inquiry in. And we have 2 choices here. We can start the track from the start date of the track, or we can start the track by using an end date. So if you were organizing an event, then this would be ideal for you. So you could have a process that you go through when you organize an event. So it would be event date minus 1 week, confirm the delegates, minus 2 weeks, so 2 weeks before the event, you might ask for dietary requirements. 3 weeks before the event, you might confirm the venue or send out invitations or whatever. But we can work backwards from the date of the event and we can have a process for that. We're just working backwards instead of forwards. So this one is from the start date of the track. And so the task description, so this is the initial inquiry. So it might be initial inquiry received. It might be reply and set up discovery call, depending on what the sales process is. We can then choose a category. So we can add our own task categories to the task categories that are given to us by Capsule. And one of my other videos shows how to do that. But task categories are particularly relevant in the tracks. So we can maybe choose contact, nurture. The reason that they're particularly relevant is that in the calendar and tasks area, we can see all of the tasks. And because this task is in the track, then these tasks will pop up rather than us add them. So they'll pop up because we have multiple opportunities on our system and multiple ones are going through that initial inquiry stage. So we can keep on top of these different types of activity by drilling down in the calendar and tasks onto these particular categories. And when we do that, we backtrack our work and we're more efficient. So we have an assignee here. So we might use the opportunity owner or different users, or we could even choose the user that's completing the previous step. So you can assign tasks to the different users that you have on the system. We would then choose how many days after the track starts do we want this task to pop up. And when I say pop up, we will see it in the dashboard. We will also receive an email into our inbox saying that a task is due. And something like the initial inquiry received reply instead of a discovery call, that would probably happen the day that the opportunity is created. So we put that as naught. And then we can have weekdays or weeks. So I tend to do weekdays. So then we might add a second task. So following on from the initial inquiry received, reply and set up a discovery call. We might have make sure discovery call has been set up, just as a follow-up, just to remind ourselves. And we might have something like follow-up for that one. And that we might say, right, when I want to leave it 2 days after that initial inquiry came in to make sure that the person who made the initial inquiry has actually booked a discovery call. And that track can be as short as that if you wanted to, be. So we just press save. So then we build the tracks up. Okay, so you can see here that we've got sales process, milestone 1, initial inquiry, milestone 2, meeting call, milestone 3, proposal, milestone 4, verbally accepted, and then whether it's been won or lost. And if we look at the milestones within the pipeline, we can see initial inquiry, meeting call, proposal verbally accepted, T's and C's. So you can see that those tracks support the movement of the opportunity from the initial inquiry stage into meeting call, into proposal verbally accepted, etc. Okay, so if we wanted to set up a track on a project, we go back to account settings, we go back to tracks, we click on projects, and same thing would happen here. These tracks here are to manage what we're delivering to our clients. So you might have one long track for the delivery of service A. So send, welcome, arrange kickoff meetings, send draft to client, obtain feedback, document feedback, and allocate task, allocate setup task. So it can be really simple, or it can be more complicated. You might have different tracks depending on what you're delivering, and the same goes with project tracks. We can work backwards in time. So this is where an event might be more relevant than in a pipeline. So you're organizing an event on a regular basis and you have a process. So you could choose the end date of the track with adding that track. And or if you were using a track in projects to manage what you're delivering, then you'd start at the beginning date of the track. So although we just saw a track for the delivery of service A, what we can do is have a series of tracks that support the movement of the work through the project stages. So if we click on project stages, if we go to project board, and then we go to the delivery of service ABC, we've got kickoff meeting, design version 1, final version 2, delivered to client, follow up after delivery, ask for recommendation, and then follow up 3 months after delivery. So what we would want there is a track to arrange the kickoff meeting, follow up after the kickoff meeting, and then when we're designing version 1 of whatever it is, we would have a track for that. And then the last task on that stage would be to move into the final version of the deliverable, and then to deliver it to the client. So we'd have a track for kickoff meeting here, another track to design the version, and then another track to for the final version, another track to deliver, another track to follow up after delivery, and another track to ask for recommendation case study. And what we can do is we can add those tracks onto the opportunity or onto the project. So if we look at an opportunity, so let's go to citrus lemon test number 2, and here we have a track already, so we're going to delete this track. So what we can do is we can go to add track, and we might go to sales process milestone 1 initial inquiry, and we work through those tasks. When we get to the end of those tasks, then we add the second track, meeting call, and you can see that milestone has to automatically change to meeting call. That's because we're on the growth plan, we've got an automation set up, but if we didn't, then you could just manually change that. And then you go through the tasks within that track, and you keep on adding all of the tracks until you get to the point where you've either won the opportunity or lost it. And it's the same with projects. You add the tracks, so you manage your process through Capsule all the way through until you've completed the work that you're delivering to your clients. So hopefully that makes sense, and do check out my other Capsule videos. Do let me know if you have any questions, and do subscribe to my channel. But I hope you have found that useful. Thank you for watching.